Hey, hello, leaders. Hey, so today I want to talk about something instead of something that you do, something that you actually are told and how you are to receive what you're being told. And specifically, I want to tell you or give you some tips on how you can receive constructive feedback. And I'm going to go back to the vault. This is episode 90 from season 1. And I think you're going to like this one. And this is a issue that I've had problems with in the past. So maybe you have too, and maybe this show can help or to give you some ideas. How many times over the course of a week do you give constructive feedback to your team members? Now, what I mean by constructive feedback is the kind of feedback that is helpful in nature. And according to Webster's online dictionary, it's the feedback that promotes improvement or development. Although this is considered good feedback to help the team member, it sometimes has a tendency to come across a bit harsh. So let me ask you, how do you approach constructive feedback? What is your style in giving constructive feedback? Do you ever find it awkward? What if a team member doesn't receive the feedback well? What if they get all ticked off and just totally shut down? How do you handle that as a leader? Well, in today's show, we're going to talk about how you, as the leader, sets the tone for constructive feedback within your team and organization. Let's talk about today's challenge of receiving constructive feedback. This is yet one more challenge that I have had some difficulties with over the years. I can take constructive feedback quite well at times, but it usually really ticks me off initially. And depending on who's giving it, sometimes I can flat out put up a concrete wall as a barrier to prevent that feedback from even getting to me, which is terrible. However, I've learned over the years that it really doesn't matter who gives you constructive feedback. I can still take it all in. I can process it by carefully thinking it over. I can pick out the specific details that can improve or develop myself, and then I can apply what I've learned. You know what? You can do the same. And how you receive constructive feedback is crucial to how your people will receive it from you. So the key is to put your personal feelings and pride to the side and really listen to the person giving you the constructive feedback. Then really dissect the good stuff. You can even ask yourself, is this really best for improvement and development? If the answer to that question is a no, make a list of why you think that way. But be very careful because your natural tendency is going to be putting up roadblocks or barriers because you don't like receiving constructive feedback. A lot of people don't. However, if you answer that question with a big yes, then start implementing the feedback immediately. So if you say to yourself, this is really best for improvement and development, and it's best for the team, then start implementing it immediately. Just the other night, my wife and I were out for dinner, and we had a great conversation with the manager. This manager was telling us how difficult it was to weed out the good waiters and waitresses and getting rid of the poor ones. However, it cost the store about $600 to $700 to train the not-so-great waiters and waitresses. So I saw this as a great opportunity to introduce the manager to the DISC assessment that many organizations use before hiring team members. I told the manager all about the power of using the assessment and how it could save the store approximately $650 on each new hire. Well, the conversation went pretty well, but when my wife and I got in our car, she gave me some good old-fashioned constructive feedback. My wife discussed how I need to work on my explanation of the assessment and how I should never assume that people know the assessment. Now, I'll be truthful here. My first reaction was anything but, oh, thanks, honey, I appreciate the feedback. No, my first reaction was negative, but I held it in. And I fought to process the information while I put my personal feelings and pride to the side. Then I silently asked myself if the feedback would legitimately improve or develop my approach. And I silently answered, yes, it absolutely will. I then opened my mouth and thanked my wife and told her that that was really good stuff and that I actually agreed with her. And I thanked her for giving me that feedback. Now, that could have went really bad really fast if my initial reaction just came out. But you know what? She was giving me constructive feedback that could help. So now it's your turn. As the leader of your team, or as a mid-level leader, create an environment within your team where people can openly give constructive feedback to each other, including you, and display receiving constructive feedback in a positive manner. Put your personal feelings and pride to the side. Listen carefully, dissect the feedback, and ask yourself whether or not the feedback will help you improve or develop. Then take action accordingly. Far too often, we receive constructive feedback and fail to make any improvements. Don't let that be you. Lead the way for your team. Lead by the right example. Well, I hope you enjoyed this episode. As always, please be sure to share this briefing with coworkers, friends, and every other leader you know, and especially your HR directors and CEOs, so your entire organization can run to your challenges together. As always, you can contact me directly at Paul Grau, that's Paulgrau, at currentleadershipcoaching.com. Hey, thanks for listening, and feel free to give me constructive feedback on this podcast. Until tomorrow, run to your challenges.